2 years ago, I posted this video. Last year, I posted this video. So here I am, 2 years into my 30s, and I'm going to let y'all know where I'm at with the goals that I want to achieve by the time I turn 40. I have everything written on a post-it, so that's what I'm holding here. Some of these I've already achieved, so I'll kind of just fly through those because I already talked about them last year. That video will be linked down below in my description box. The other thing is I feel like I should kind of adjust some of these, but since we're only 2 years in and I'm 8 years away from 40, which, yeah, that's kind of just crazy to think about. I'll talk about it as I go through. So first goal was to achieve Coast financial independence. If you don't know what Coast Fi is, I have a video where I explain what that is. So that will be linked down below in my description box. But I would need at this age, I think like $240,000, $250,000 in investments in order to like achieve Coast Fi. This isn't that important for me to achieve at this point just because of like other things in my life, you know, which I'll talk about, the other goals that I set. So overall, I have not reached Coast Fi, but I know that last year when I gave this update, I was sharing how much I had in investments alone at the age that I'm currently at. So at the age of 30, I had $44,000 invested. At the age of 31, I had $85,000 invested, and now at the age of 32, I have $101,000 invested. So it's good that it's going up, and obviously quite a bit far away from that 250K figure, but eventually I'll get there, and I don't necessarily need to hit Coast Fi because of my second goal, which is to pursue Slowfi. I would say I am currently pursuing Slowfi. As of right now, I am making less money doing what I do, being self-employed, and that means investing less money, saving less money, but I enjoy life so much more. I wake up and I don't dread the day, you know? So I started that last year. I quit my job in May of 2024, and I am literally living my dream job. So I'm pursuing Slowfi, and sure, that may mean that I'm not growing my net worth as quickly as I could have if I stayed in a 9-to-5 job on top of the side hustles that I had, but that is perfectly fine with me. The other cool thing with what I do as far as creating content and having a service-based business is that there's no cap to what I can earn. So this is just the beginning of things. It's been a little bit over a year since I've been fully self-employed, and I have seen growth in my income, but this is just year one, you know? So I could see a lot of growth over the next few years, and no, it may not be millions of dollars in the year, but I wouldn't expect that with my 9-to-5 options anyway. So yeah, there's no cap to this, so I could make more money, and it could, I guess you would still consider it Slowfi, but at the same time, I could make more money, invest more, save more. You'll get the idea. Third goal was to take an entrepreneurial sabbatical. So when I set these goals, I was still working a 9-to-5 job, and I did want to just take a sabbatical and kind of see how entrepreneurship would go. But I am actively in that. This is not a sabbatical though. Like, I don't see myself going back to a 9-to-5 job unless absolutely necessary. But as of right now, all good. And I just see this as me being self-employed. So we can say that I've achieved this, but it wasn't ever just a sabbatical. It was more than that. And that leads me to number 4, which is to become self-employed. I am currently self-employed, and it's been a year and a couple of months. So that is definitely getting a check. Number 5 was to have a biannual giveaway. So this is when I do my $1,000 giveaway 2 times a year. And I said this when I was 30, so I hadn't started that yet. I have done 4 $1,000 giveaways at this point, which is really cool. It's every November, December, and then every May, June, July time. So there'll be another one later this year. So that is just something that I want to continue to do throughout however long I'm doing this for. And hopefully one day I can increase how much I give away or do it more often. I don't know. But also I do get some help by people who support me directly. So anytime I receive support through Buy Me a Coffee or directly through Venmo, I'm putting that money toward these giveaways. So at this point, it's kind of like a community effort, and I really appreciate that. Number 6, max out my Roth IRA every year moving forward, and definitely all of my 30s. I am on track to do this. I have maxed out my Roth IRA every year since 2022, and it is one of the main things that I don't want to ever give up until I reach retirement age. Unfortunately, I have not fully maxed out my Roth IRA yet for 2025, but I still will. I've contributed $4,000, still have $3,000 to go, and I'm just contributing monthly, so I'll finish by December. If I have a big jump in my income though, I will max it out at finish the 3,000 as soon as possible. Number 7 is I want to have $100,000 in cash savings, more specifically in my high yield savings account. At the age of 30, I had $21,000 in my high yield savings account. At the age of 31, that reached $31,000. And unfortunately, at the age of 32, that went back down to $21,000. So I have used some of that because it was like travel savings, business savings. I haven't really touched my emergency fund, which is good. Car maintenance, I've used some of that. So basically, before I left my job, I was able to save a ton of money. And that was obviously intentional because I knew I was about to leave my job. And then throughout the last year or so, I have not been able, I've pulled from those sinking funds that I have and have not been able to replenish them. But I'm still in a place that, overall, I'm pretty content with how much I have saved. I would absolutely love to have more in cash savings, but this is not as huge of a concern for me as my Roth IRA, for example. My Roth IRA is priority over my cash savings because 21K overall feels pretty comfortable to me, and the bulk of that is in my emergency fund, and it's going to continue to grow altogether. I do still want to work on getting to 100,000 cash savings, but if I don't achieve that, but I'm, growing my investments, I'm fine with that too. So I want both, the best of both worlds, really. And having 100K cash isn't really for anything in particular. It's just a goal that I set. Number 8, buy a house or a property. Still have not achieved this, and this is something that's just not on my horizon. I do check Zillow every so often. It's something I would absolutely love to do, but I just don't have the cash saved up to put, to have a down payment and then also have an emergency fund in case something were to happen. I absolutely would love to own some property, whether it be for where we live or for Airbnb. I'm not interested in being a landlord, but I wouldn't be opposed to hosting a house on Airbnb. And I don't know. I really don't know. It's just not on the horizon right now, and that's fine with me. Number 9, I want to reach a net worth of $1 million or more. This is a stretch goal for me, and obviously I have not achieved this. At the age of 30, my net worth was about $65,700. At the age of 31, my net worth was about $116,000. And at the age of 32, my net worth is about $126,000. I have a full video where I break that down. I just put it up recently, so I can link that down below. Obviously, I'm quite behind on this because I would have to invest and save a ton of money in order to get to that net worth mark, even with the compounding interest. But of course, because that money, the bulk of my money is invested, and I have some savings, but because the bulk of it's invested, the compounding interest, dividends, capital gains, growth in the market, all of that is going to help just on its own now that I have more there. I know that the growth in my net worth is going to get faster and faster, and I can help it by saving and investing. So still going to keep that as a goal, but we'll see what happens. And then the final goal that I set is that I want to fly first class at some point in my 30s. I would love to do that. Sometimes I will look, I'm like, oh, we're planning this trip. What does first class look like? And I'm like, this is just not worth it to me. And I remember when I first talked about it, somebody was saying, go to Europe, first class or something like that. And it would definitely be on an international flight, something longer, so that I can just lay down on the plane, because planes are uncomfortable. It's so hard to sleep in regular class, whatever you call it, in economy. But honestly, no matter what, I'm so grateful to have the opportunity to travel, and that's something that my fiance and I really enjoy doing together, and something we prioritize. We enjoy spending money on that, and I love that we get to do it together and visit new places. So even if it is in economy, I don't mind by any means. However, I just think it would be really cool to one day fly first class for a long flight, whether it be going to Europe or Australia would really be the dream. That's one of the longest flights that we could take. And I've been to Australia and flew economy. But first class would be a dream for that. So have not achieved that one. I don't know when it will happen, but I don't doubt that it will happen in my 30s, or at the very least in my 40s. Those are the goals I'd like to achieve by the time I turn 40. Shout out to you if you've been here since I was 30 and made that original video, or even before that, because I've been here for some time. I think at some point I need to reevaluate these and kind of change things, especially since I've achieved some of them, and as things change in my life, I probably should update these. I just don't know when I'll do that. Maybe next year or the year after, but for now, I'll continue to give an update on an annual basis as long as y'all are still here. So with that, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for watching this video. If you could please give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in my next one.